That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
Good question.
Brandon, we can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
Yo. What's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 5K sales. I got a lot of topics because it was ironically a slow news day. So with the slow news day, I was just scrapping up everything I could get. And to start off, man, our boy, one of my favorite kind of things on this channel of following, William Banks is free. My boy is apparently out of jail again. He said 2025 is just beginning. Well, he said 2025 is just beginning. But William Banks is apparently out, man. He's got the Jesus piece and his mugshot on a T. And he's posted up in a parking lot, man. And his caption now just says, "I am a good person." That's what his bio says. No logos until I get a sponsor. Oh, oh, wow. Yeah, this kid is smart. This kid is smart. Every day is a day. Shout out to Lila for posting this. Yeah, he's smart. I remember the whole thing of like when I reacted to it. I ain't gonna lie, that was a legendary stream. If you know, you know. If you was on there, that was one of the times where I feel like the actual, like if you were there live, it was better than the replay. But yeah, on the live, I was like, okay, maybe he's off. He's not off. He knows what he's doing. This dude knows what he's doing. Shout out to William Banks, bro. I am America, but my heart lives in the world. I have no interest in learning this language. However, I do want to learn speaking Spanish. Welcome to Philly. He's on no, ain't a bruh. Come on, bruh. Nah, bruh. Come on, bruh. Don't tell me William Banks got an on the radar freestyle, bruh.
Baby, I love.
All right. I'm muting it for the sake of copyright. Ain't no way William Banks really got a roommate clean day.
Room before we take care of our personal bullshit.
Whoa, dude. I'd love to see you can do it. You put your mind to that table.
That's Peter's trash.
Peter.
That is not.
So he's back to making like skits and comedy sketches. So I'm thinking, did he really get the NYPD to agree to do the skit of taking him back to jail? Because I don't know if I'll ever find it, but because like, wait, hold on. What is punishment for escaping New York jail? Okay. Escape in the first degree is punishable for up to 7 years in prison, while escape in the second degree can lead up to a maximum of 4 years. So yeah, so up to 4 years and up to 7 years. Let me put in William Banks, just in case. I don't know. What was the William Banks? Oh, it was in Connecticut. The man who just went to a fake prison also went to a real jail. Wait, hold on, bro. Hold on, twin. Okay. All right, bro. New Yorker want me to sign up for all the stuff. I might have to hold on. Give me a second. Cause now I want to know. I really want to know this now. Give me a second. I want to know. All right, here we go. I got it. Okay, bet. The man who went to fake prison also went to a real jail. A crime that became a prank, then became a crime. Last October, William Banks posted on Instagram that he was looking for a subletter, a $1,025 a month for 8 months, and a pre-war bidding in the Crown Heights with 3 roommates. It's the kind of message that many New Yorkers put out, hoping to cover their rent during an arts residency or a luxurious season of travel. His trip would not be so glamorous. I'm leaving New York for a little while because unfortunately I have to go to jail in Connecticut, Banks told everyone. Banks had been arrested at the end of 2023 in Westport, a wealthy town halfway down to New Haven from Brooklyn, for stealing 5 Israeli lawn flags, which residents had planted to show support for Israel following the October 7th attacks. He was in Connecticut visiting his fiance's parents for the holidays, and he felt compelled to do something after watching the ensuing attacks on Gaza. I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and I got it in my head that I should throw these signs away, Banks said. I thought Israel was being very bad and that no one else was going to do something about it except for me. Banks then went out on a flags, snatching in full daylight, dumping them in the trash can, and that he rolled down the street behind them. Neighbors snapped the picture and scared him off with the threat to call the police. But when the police arrived, Banks went back for more. He drove up one more residence in his fiance's white Prius and stole a replacement flag, driving off as the officer on the scene yelled at him to stop. I wanted to get caught, not at the top of my head, but I think deep down it's like I wanted a point to be made. I wanted to make it clear that there are people out there who think that this is messed up, he said. The action was not without its consequences, serving as the final blow to his engagement before he got dumped. I was pretty devastated, Banks said. I was like, what is wrong with me? Lots of other people would be asking the same thing as he began an ill-fated journey that will take him to courtrooms of Connecticut, to a prison in Florida, to a night sleeping on the floor of a very real jail in New York City. Hold on, bro. Banks, 28, a comedian by trade, is recognizable by an unruly mane growing at a 180-degree crown on the cross of the back of his head, like Danny DeVito on a bad hair day. He focuses on extended and absurd bits that play out on social media and refuse to wink at the camera. Ongoing projects include his plot to unite the world religions, to quote-unquote eradicate the plague on atheism, and a cult-like movement to convince strangers that he was abducted by an alien planet carnivore. Apart from the random encounter with Alec Baldwin in one of his videos, most of this work is yet to gain him an audience much beyond his fellow comedians in Brooklyn. For his latest project, Banks got some extra firepower from Peter McIndoe, his friend, fellow prankster, and roommate. Over the past 8 years, McIndoe has become an expert at getting people to care about inherently stupid ideas. Beginning from the movement called Birds Aren't Real, founded on a whim in 2017, McIndoe spent years pitching a faux conspiracy that the U.S. government had replaced all the birds with drones to spy on Americans. The meme was a loose commentary on how easily our nation falls prey to QAnon level innatity. But like a real conspiracy, Birds Aren't Real quickly gained hundreds of thousands of followers, became a fixation for young people during the pandemic, and broke containment to the point that their grandparents were hearing about it on 60 Minutes and Fox News. In 2023, McIndoe sat for a primetime interview with Pete Hedges, in which he refused to acknowledge that any birds are real and called the current Secretary of Defense Tucker. All right. McIndoe wrote a book on the stunt and that he faked his own unaliving before moving on to another spoof, the patent for Enon for a highly believable satirical reboot. For now, he is remaining off camera for the stunts. His co-conspirator for Birds Aren't Real Days is playing the Enron CEO. I'm definitely in my director area, McIndoe says. He also says that last year, the Democratic National Committee reached out to him on how to reach younger voters, to which the advice was to infiltrate the right-wing podcast ecosystem and talk upfront about Palestine. Both ideas were turned down. McIndoe, 25, is interested in what he calls autobiographical reality television. With the streaming model leading TV and movies to crisis point, he sees his reality-bending projects as a direct route to get people to pay attention without the nagging influence of boring soup. TVs and movies are exhausted and overrun by industry and money and bureaucracy, he said. It feels banal and it's been done, and I really think there's an opportunity here to introduce a whole new way to tell stories. With Banks going back and forth with court dates, together they saw an opportunity for one of these stories. They would simply tell everyone that Banks was prison bound and play with whatever attention came. We have to find you a real jail, McIndoe texted Banks. McIndoe, Banks, and 2 other roommates, Will Duncan and Ryan Smith, wrote out that their roommate passion project in their kitchen with Python on the bookshelf for at least 2 pictures of My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell said on display. They got a writing story arc for Banks' fake incarceration on whiteboard. In real life, Banks said he agreed to plan in Connecticut that will result in a charge getting wiped. Getting wiped from his record if they agreed to do 200 hours of community service and 2 years of probation, as well as a psychiatric evaluation and hate crime class. But for their show on social media, the gang rented a disused jail outside of Miami for a 5-hour shoot, hiring a fan from Detroit to play Banks' cellmate and putting up a casting call for a jail saga reality show to fill the remaining roles. Their pawn shop cell phones recorded footage just blurry enough to look real. In total, the shoot was around $6,000 provided by. They got me. They got me. They got me, bro. They got me. The whole time I was like, is this real? Is this not? I was like, I think it was not real. On December 9th, 2024, Banks posted his first photo from the fake prison stint. The stunt thoroughly was believable on X, fitting seamlessly through the troll for slop and misinformation that feeds the app these days. Over the context of the comedy scene that should connect the dots, the reception was not as warm. Banks lost performance opportunities. His improv group, featuring a former SNL member, disintegrated. To keep up the pretense locally, Banks stopped going out as much and began wearing a thinly veiled disguise at times. When he first met at bedside coffee shop called Corto in February of this year, he wore a pair of fake glasses and ordered under the name Anthony. The key to understanding William is that he has good intentions and really, really commits to the silly idea rather than a harmful and hateful idea, said Eric Gates, a comedian and friend who advised Banks on the project. It was kind of just making fun of how protesters were getting thrown into jail and criticizing this perspective. William freaks people out, and I think I think good art is kind of weird and inappropriate and crosses the line, said Banks' roommate Will Duncan. But I can always say, I wouldn't live like William. The criticism highlighted some incoherence in the project. Was he making light of incarceration? Was he being cruel to Jews supporting Israel? Was he mocking Gaza? We were all chatting about it because there are a lot of people who think that it's messed up and stuff, but everyone's a really coward. So whatever, said comedian Millie Tamareres. This is so corny and racist, it's insane. She had written under Banks' initial point. A lot of their stuff and their material relies on an all-white audience and people who've had familiar experiences to them, Tamara said. That's why it's funny to him. It's like oh my gosh, what if I went to jail? I just think that using a genocide in any way to gain followers is cowardice. Said another comedian, Marley Gaultier. People on the streets are really every day getting arrested. This is a whole shtick. It's not nothing that people should be doing. The prison content kept going. The fake narrative showed Banks growing more comfortable in a fake prison. His fake cellmate, a rapper from Detroit who goes by the name of Ant, encourages him to freestyle and declined to be interviewed for the project unless he was paid $250. Yo, shout out to the New Yorker, bro. Banks got in a fake fight with some atheists in jail and taught them about the healing power of a Abrahamic God. He also began calling himself White Moses, and in one dispatch finally led to his fellow fake prisoners to freedom under the chain link fence. The roommates were particularly thrilled, and an international news account shared the low-def film of the escape presented on video as if it was a real thing. The funniest part is by how people are interpreting it on the same level that they would as if it was actually happening in real person, which is the most visceral feeling of entertainment, said McIndoe. You can go to the movies hoping for a nugget of emotion. I'm hoping that something makes me laugh or feel anything, even angry. Over time, the game of watching Banks online changed. More and more viewers caught on that some of the realism faded. Where were all the guards in these videos? Why would someone break out of prison just for a few months sentence? But his audience kept growing by the tens of thousands, many of whom couldn't care if it was real or fake. A lot of people were having so much fun with it that they decided to put away their plausible deniability or whatever and they're pretending like it's real, Banks said. It's fun to pretend. Ah, that's funny. While on the run, Banks found himself a quote unquote girlfriend, a video editor named Madison Van Buren, who picked him up on the side of the road planning for his escape. People would love to see me with a hot girlfriend, said Banks. People were like, that's insane. I can't believe this guy. A lot of people say I look like Gargamel, a villain from the Smurfs. I don't like that one. This past winter, Banks, I want to interview William now, bro. At this point, I want to, William, I done made 5 videos about you. You commented on the first one a few months ago. William Banks, if you're watching this right now and you got 15 minutes into this video, I want to interview you, bro. I want to bring you on the channel. Come on, let's talk, bro. I'll reach out to you. I'll find your contact. I'll reach out. I'll see if I can bring you on the channel, bro. This past winter, Banks' roommate Brain Trust saw another opportunity. In the second Trump term, people launching and quickly selling their own cryptocurrencies become trendy again, thanks to regulators looking at the other way. Banks created and promptly cashed in on a meme coin called Moses. He took in at least $50,000, which he then distributed to several charities: $20,000 to the Samir Project, $10,000 to the Palestine Red Crescent Society, translating Palestine, and Gaza Sunbirds. This part wasn't fake. Gaza Sunbirds confirmed it and received a donation. Hellgate confirmed that it was 3 other donations in a story that Banks published on March 19th. Banks invented a new nickname, Waluigi Manjon, and found that what he believes is a radical moral higher ground. Even though people question the ethics of my method, it still raised the most out of any of my peers. Not to brag about that, but it does feel like a definite evidence that this was a success. He described the donations as an iron dome against any critique. Jeez Louise. Okay, hold on. Okay, I gotta. Okay, I guess I gotta. This is crazy, bro. Okay. By early March, Banks was putting together the finishing touches on ending the jail saga. They planned for the plot to culminate with a rap party, and me, Saber Cafe in Brooklyn, capping this fake run from the law. But the autobiographical reality TV show would have a different finale. On the morning of March 12th, Banks took the train down from Crown Heights to Flatiron with his fake girlfriend to shoot a few more pictures of him pretending to be on a run from the law. Minutes after he arrived, I knew it. After he arrived at I feel vindicated. After he arrived at the hot dog cart on West 18th Street, a bystander called 911 reporting that there was a guy in a tank top with crazy hair and a visible gun tucked in his waistband. Like many things in Banks' life, the gun was fake. A borrowed BB pistol so that's how they did it, with the tip painted black. It looked awfully real to police officers who arrived on the scene and arrested him. Later that day, I was on the phone with McIndoe when he sent over a picture of Banks getting ushered into the squad car. For obvious reasons, it immediately seemed suspect. I'm being totally honest with you right now, McIndoe said. Free William, for real this time. These kids right here. The NYPD confirmed this account. Banks had been arrested for the imitation of an imitation pistol. He'd been taken to the 13th precinct, then transferred to Central Booking, where he spent the night. It's kind of beautiful in a way, McIndoe said, of its roommate's unplanned return to the fictional narrative to a hard reality. Banks did not find much beauty in his night sleeping on the ground in a cell using his shoe as a pillow. Central Booking is way worse than what I ever imagined, he said, but he was satisfied with the new ending of his film, quote unquote, as he refers to the project in the conversation. The boys wrote a real arrest and a fake plot. After posting repeatedly that he was never going back again, Banks published a photo of his real arrest on March 20th, followed by an in-character interview with his girlfriend, which seemed to be claimed he was at Rikers. It's become this hybrid reality fantasy play in which both is real and not real at the same time. It's like quantum storytelling. Even as Banks tried to put a bow on whatever all of this was, the court dates continued. Release his own recognized in New York. He has appeared in early May for the imitation pistol charge, which carries a maximum sentence of 1 year in prison. I wasn't planning on getting caught with that gun, but I had kind of got into this bit of a hubris. Banks said, now I'm like, I'm not gonna hop on the subway anymore. I'm going to stop stealing from Whole Foods. I'm going to be on my really good boy stuff. Yo, this dude is funny, bro. He's funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's funny. Hold on. Let me see. All right. Cool. That's funny, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's funny.
All my drugs.
We're 30-year-olds. We're 30-year-old men. We're 30-year-olds.
You're standing around talking about
Your ice cream is your DoorDash.
How old are you gonna be?
29.
You can't even change your own diaper.
Say it.
And we put all the trash in a trash bag together and we take turns as a team.
Wouldn't it be easier to just focus on the task at hand and clean up like adults, Peter?
That's literally what I'm trying to do.
I think a game would be fun.
Where'd Peter go?
He went in his room.
Peter.
I'm just trying to find.
We keep the bottle caps to make a design with them.
Really?
What is that? What is this?
What are you doing, William?
Clean. Ah! You don't give me what
Hey! Get out of there. Get out of there.
What's going on?
William just actually tried to.
He just tried to hit both of us. He's been really violent lately.
I don't know.
I'm feeling a little lightheaded with everything going on right now.
My heart is racing right now.
That's very scary.
How much more trash is
Why
there?
don't you just lay down or
We're good.
something?
Why don't you just
man?
lay down?
Probably take a beat, buddy.
Take a beat.
I was just driving.
I'm rattled. I mean,
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
covered in
Oh my
goosebumps. I think we need a timeout.
What's going on with you, man? Big jail, start beefing with some dude, and then end up back to jail, and then he threw a pool party and posed for some pics, and now
Well, you got a boyfriend, you got a partner, or you got a girlfriend, and you might even have a situation. But if you got a situation on your hands, don't call me. I can't clean it up. You're going to want to call the custodian. Just joking. It feels so good to do this.
Give it up for William Banks, everybody.
This is the most interesting man on the internet. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. Even with the fake, like, this is crazy, bro. Like my mind, I read this was fake. This was planted. But even William Banks, the comedian, like, I don't know if he's just constantly in character, and like there is no serious William Banks, you know, like kind of like Jim Carrey. I don't. Who is? We'll never know. We'll never know, man. We'll never know, bro. This account is ran and managed by William Banks. The original owner, Will Duncan, no longer owns, controls, or has access to the pages. Your boy Sonic, and that's the one that I watched. This is the crazy, bro. I don't know if I'll ever understand William Banks, bro. Yeah, you know why I'm here. You know why I'm here. Today was good. Ant-Man folded today. Ant-Man folded tonight, man. This is like, I don't understand, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I do not understand, bro, at all. But today was here. She was here like 6 minutes ago. It's like 6 minutes later. She probably gone. But today, if you still here, like I said, Ant-Man folded tonight. But I also like Judaism and Islam too. This is so crazy to me, bro. Like, I still don't get it. I still don't even get it, bro. If he came on this show, hold on, let me see.
One thing I'm
No, they pretty legit. Y'all can't even build a jet by yourself. You heard about Japan. The essential elements of due process of laws are a notice of opportunity, defend before life. His due process's rights were violated. Okay. Life, property. Simon versus Kraft. The essential element of due process before life, liberty, and property is taken. His due process rights were. Y'all can't even build a jet by yourself. That the U.S. is the best military ever assembled in the history of mankind. Did you not see what they did to Japan? I'm telling you, my brother, or sister, whoever this is. I literally know people in the service who build such jets and equipment you speak of. It is their entire job to build the equipment. And guess what color they are? So what are we talking about right now, brother? And to act like it's only white people in the military and saying, yo, we got this. The military, we do it. What are you talking about, brother? The U.S. military, see, it's some people whose main job is to get a rise out of you. And as you guys just saw, he got a rise out of me. But yeah, that was one of the thing about the whole proverbial race war. A lot of craziness going on the channel now, but a lot of stuff that interests me. Yeah, I'm on William Banks, bro. William, if you're watching this, let's talk. So I could try to figure out the character versus the real you, if there is any differences and stuff like that. I don't know, bro. It's very interesting to me. Okay, now from fake escapees to the real escapees. We are now down to what they said, the final two escapees from the New Orleans jail. This one was found, I think they found two today. I want to say it was two that I saw, one in Baton Rouge and then another in Texas. The one in Texas, we have finally found one who left the state of Louisiana. So first of all, give it up to bro. For leaving the state of Louisiana. You know, a lot of people stayed in the city of New Orleans. Nonetheless, the state of Louisiana. The other guy, Baton Rouge, he got up about 75 minutes, 60 minutes up the road to Baton Rouge, and they caught him up there, but that's still Louisiana. This guy right here, the reason why he lasted so long is because he went to Texas. Did anybody go to Mexico? I guess we'll have to wait and find out, huh? 3 more escapees. This is from Fox 8. Shout out to Gabby Killett and Ken Daly. 3 more escapees from the Orleans Justice Center jail were recaptured on Monday, May 26, outside of New Orleans. Linton Van Buren Jr., 26, was caught in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Attorney General Liz Murrow announced, and fellow fugitives Leo Tate, 31, and Jermaine Donald, 42, were apprehended in Walker County, Texas, north of Houston, Louisiana. So they went to Houston. Louisiana State Police confirmed. Monday's 3 arrests means that Derek Groves, 27, and Antoine Massey, 32, are the final 2 fugitives still at large from among. Everybody said Derek was like the most dangerous one, right? Yeah. See, today knows. Everybody's saying Derek was the most dangerous one. He's the one with the he had the 2 charges already for the unaliving, and then he has 2 more. Yeah, or he's like charged for 2 more from the Mardi Gras, like a Mardi Gras attack or something like that. It's crazy. But he's still on the run, bro. And everybody's money was on Derek. They were like, Derek's is the most dangerous looking one. He's probably gonna last the longest. He had to go to Mexico. He had to flee to Mexico. Anyways, are the final 2 fugitives still at large among the 10 who escaped the New Orleans Parish Jail shortly after midnight on May 16th. May 16th? 10 days. He said, excellent work. It took him 10 days to get him. It took him 10 days, Jeff Landry. It took him 10 days, Jeff Landry. Excellent work. It took him 10 days. In 2025, we have Ring cameras. The everyday human, the everyday citizen has surveillance footage outside of their house now, in their apartment complexes, in their units, because of Ring cameras. It took you guys 10 days to find these guys. And you still haven't found all of them. 10 days, you still haven't found 10 people. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry hailed Monday's arrest on a post on X. Excellent work. Landry commended the Louisiana State Police and Texas Department of Public Safety. Antoine and Derek, you are all caps next! Exclamation point. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? And there's the photo. A $20,000 reward still hangs over each remaining fugitive's heads for the information that leads to their capture. Monday's apprehensions marked the first big victories in a multi-state manhunt in nearly a week. 6 days had passed since Corey Boyd was recaptured last Tuesday on 1400 block of Iberville, becoming the 5th escapee returned to custody. Since then, authorities have arrested 11 people accused of assisting escaped inmates, booking them as accessories to the fact after the escape. To the escape. Okay. Van Buren is accused of a 2021 unaliving in New Orleans East, and Donald is charged with an attempted second-degree unaliving, aggravated battery, obstruction of justice, and weapons counts. Tate is he was awaiting trial on burglary, narcotics, and weapons allegations. Louisiana State Police said Monday that Tate and Donald were arrested in Walker County, just north of Houston, but agents from the Texas Department of Public Safety and Huntsville Police. New Orleans escapees apprehended. This is from Texas. In a multi-agency effort, we caught these boys. And they said, hey, what are you doing? We caught all y'all boys. And that's what we did. Shouts out to Huntsville, I suppose. According to Huntsville police, Donald and Tate led the law enforcement officers from several agencies on a high-speed chase to the Huntsville area. The pursuit ended nearly US 190 in Geneva. The department said where both fugitives were taken into custody. Baton Rouge police said that they were acting on an anonymous tip, stopped the man sitting on a bench. She was sitting on a bench? My brother, what was you doing outside, bro? You trying to get some fresh air for what? You need to lay low for at least a month. My brother trying to get some fresh air knowing he on the run. Do none of your friends have Twitter? Do none of your friends have Facebook? Your face is all over the country, gang. And you sitting on a bench. The man was detained and identified as Van Buren. Authorities were executing a search warrant at a hotel where Van Buren was staying. Law enforcement. So they found out the hotel he was staying. They was looking in the area and they found him. Boy, you stupid. Boy, you stupid. Some Van Buren's relatives were arrested over the weekend with accusations of transporting, harboring, or assisting Linton Van Buren Jr. since his escape. I'm not even going to say what I want to say right. I'll say it. We'll say it. I'm not going to say it because I ain't going to do that. Patricia Van Buren, 18, and Tyshina Randolph, 27, were booked on accessories after the fact. Orleans Parish Magistrate Commissioner Jonathan Friedman said the bonds for both women at $1 million on Sunday. According to the court records, the woman brought Linton Van Buren Jr. to a relative's house in Magnolia, Mississippi. Linton Van Buren Sr., 48, and Angela McKay, 41, were also booked over the weekend as accessories. The escapee sister, Lanika Van Buren, 28, has also been booked as accessory. I ain't gonna lie, bro. One of my immediate family members break out, bro. I don't know nothing about nothing. That ain't got nothing to do with me. If the authority asks, hey, I don't. Who? Huh? My sister. Oh, she out? Oh, okay. I think she went this way, but I don't know. I told her you can't be in my because I got to turn you in. That's what I told her because I'm a law-abiding citizen, sir. The Louisiana State Police also arrested Diamond White, 21, as a principal to aggravated escape with obstruction of justice. If you see a spelling there, let us know. Shout out to Fox 8. Okay. So, yeah, only 2 left. And today said they might not ever catch Derek. So, there it is. There it is. Everybody's money's on Derek to last the longest. So, we'll see what happens. Okay. Shannon Sharpe. He has ended or he's postponed his nightcap summer tour until 2026. And as you guys know, he's not going to First Take until August when football season comes back around. Shannon Sharpe postpones nightcap summer tour. This was written by Mike Florio. Hall of Fame tight end Shannon Sharpe had planned a summer tour of his popular Nightcap podcast with former NFL receiver Chad Johnson and now eventually every now and again Joe Johnson via Brandon Clean of awfulannouncing.com. Sharpe has delayed the tour for a year. We decided to postpone the nightcap tour, Sharpe said in a recent episode of the podcast. We look forward to bringing to you guys in the summer of 2026. It's going to be even bigger. But Ojo and I have come to the conclusion that this is the best thing to do right now, was to postpone the tour. We look forward to seeing each and every single one of you in 2026. The news comes at a time where Shannon faces a $50 million lawsuit alleging SA and other claims. His lawyer said in the days after the filing of the civil complaint that Sharpe offered at least, quote unquote, $10 million to settle the case. Sharpe has stepped away from his employment on ESPN's First Take. He has continued to record both Club Shay Shay and the Nightcap podcast. One thing I learned on the Nightcap podcast, and I think we're going to get to this 2 Chainz interview, is I haven't watched the 2 Chainz interview, but I've seen a clip of 2 Chainz talking about his like 6 restaurants in Atlanta. I didn't know 2 Chainz owned the vegan shop, the vegan pizza place in Lil 5. I go there all the time, or not all the time, but I go there often, and I love it over there. The pizza's good. I recorded stuff there the first couple times because I told myself I was gonna make a reel of it. I never made the reel of it. But yeah, like I did not know 2 Chainz owned that. Shout out to 2 Chainz. Let me see. Okay, the lawsuit was filed on April 20th. A formal response will be filed soon. And if it hasn't already been submitted, extensions to respond routinely are granted among the lawyers who handle such matters. Barring a settlement or dismissal, it is unlikely that the civil action against Sharpe will be resolved by next summer. So there is that. Shannon Sharpe is postponing. And all right. So this was another story that I saw. I saw this yesterday, actually, and I never brought it up. So here I am bringing it up now. Shout out to the capital B. Make sure y'all support Black media, Black journalism. I believe this is an independent media outlet as well. So shouts out to them. Make sure you support and read. Harvard fights Trump in court. Black students and academics say the real battle is on campus. As the country's oldest university takes on the president, Black students and Black professors said that they carry an emotional toll. This is written by Alvin Bayenza. Shout out to Alvin Bayenza. A federal judge on Friday blocked Trump's administration's attempt to revoke Harvard University's ability to enroll international students. The move comes after the nation's oldest institution of higher learning requested a temporary restraining order against the federal government's action. Harvard filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration earlier Friday. In the suit, the school calls the federal government's revocation of Harvard student and exchange visitor program certification a retaliation for refusing to comply with the government's demands for a quote-unquote attack on academic freedom. In a letter sent to the school on Thursday, the Department of Homeland Security said Harvard has a chance to regain the certification if it provides the government with detailed records about international students enrolled in the school within 72 hours. The requested records include quote-unquote electronic records and audio or video footage regarding the illegal activity, whether on and off campus, by a non-immigrant student enrolled in Harvard University in the last 5 years, according to the DHS letter. In the letter, the department cited an earlier request on April 16th for the school to provide records of its international students to the government. Although Harvard turned over those records on April 30th, the government said that they weren't, quote unquote, responsive to the request. That seems interesting. But when the government gave Harvard another opportunity to comply, it gave an insufficient, quote unquote, response to the letter. The federal government's effort to ban foreign students enrollment at Harvard is the latest development in the ongoing legal battle with the school for academic oversight and control. Harvard University student Prince Williams has long suspected that the school's administration has been watching him closely. Williams is an organizer with the African and African American Resistance Organization, was one of several students who were suspended by the school's administrative board last year for participating in the encampment on Harvard Yard to protest the war in Gaza. The decision by administrators was later downgraded to academic probation. I'm going to go back to this because if the whole thing on this, right, of getting rid of all the international students was because a lot of the international students were a part of the Gaza protest on campus. I know a lot of people, a lot of the Gaza protesters and pro-Palestinian people they all said we're not voting for Kamala Harris because of the Democrats, kind of non-willingness to kind of stand up against Palestine. Against Israel, and stop giving Israel money, because the U.S., if you guys didn't know, has given like a record amount of money to Israel, more than any other country, like in history and stuff, after the October 7th attacks a couple of years ago and Gaza and things of that sort, or with Hamas and Israel and stuff. So it's just like, I don't know. Whenever I see something like this of like the current administration punishing pro-Palestinian protesters, I'm just like, that's ironic. It's like, you voted against this for what? To get the same thing? I don't know. I just look at it like that. Going back to this, I got cases for real, said the senior, who is a history major. Williams and many student organizers like him have been fighting against Harvard's strict policies regarding campus organizing. As a result, tensions have been building between campus organizers and the school's administration. But in the wake of legal battle over academic oversight between President Donald Trump and Harvard, Williams said that the students' relationship with the school isn't so oppositional. The federal government announced on May 13th that it would cut $450 million in grants to Harvard for failing to address what is said, which was rampant racial discrimination and anti-Semitism on Harvard's campus. That move came after the school filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration last month for freezing $2.2 billion in multi-year grants after it refused to comply with the government's list of demands. The ongoing legal battle between the university in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and the federal government underscores the social and cultural differences that Black students and Black professors often face at Harvard and other elite institutions. On one hand, applaud the school's efforts in standing up against the Trump administration, but on the other hand, they have a grapple with how Harvard's new policies and decisions have disproportionately harmed them. The school renamed its Office of Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging to the Community and Campus Life on April 28th, according to an email sent out to students. Hours later, Harvard also announced that it no longer hosts or fund affinity group ceremonies such as the Black student graduation during commencement, according to the Harvard Crimson, the school's run newspaper. Black students and professors said that they feel a wave of uncertainty has washed over them as they work to figure out how to navigate being Black on campus. In this moment, we have an interesting position of trying to figure out, okay, what is our positionality? When the university is fighting against a legal case, against Trump, but at the same time, we know that the university has proven time and time again that it's not for the students in sincerity, but it's about defending its own interests. You better say it, Williams. The university did not respond to the Capital B's request to comment regarding the sentiments of Black students in the story. In a letter to the Trump administration, the school's president, Alan M. Garber, wrote that Harvard, quote unquote, is a place to bring all people of all backgrounds together to learn in an inclusive environment where ideas flourish regardless of whether they are deemed conservative, liberal, or something else. A place where assumptions and claims are tested and challenged respectfully and thoughtfully in pursuit of knowledge and truth. Black students and professors said they feel unprotected and unsure of their academic futures because of the ongoing legal battle. Black students said that they are pushed to rethink of how to create safe spaces for themselves on a campus that is slowly rolling back its DEI initiatives. And Black professors said that they are unsure that the school can continue being a beacon of academic freedom under the Trump's hidden attacks against the university. Even before Trump stepped into office for a second term, Black academics at the nation's oldest institution of higher learning said that they have felt a shift on campus climate last year. The resignation of Claudine Gay, Harvard's only Black president in its 388-year history, and the allegations of plagiarism against 4 Black women professors at the school from right-wing activists were some of the early warning signs that the atmosphere of the school is changing, according to Sandra Susan Smith, a professor at the sociology of Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. Smith, a Black female professor, thought the university should have run a campaign to make it clear that Black academics were just as credible as any other scholar, but it didn't. Feeling abandoned and betrayed by her very own university, she decided to go on a sabbatical to focus on her research and writing. Harvard failed to protect the members of the community, said Smith, who is a director of the Malcolm Weiner Center for Social Policy at the Harvard Kennedy School. We are people that they recruited to be here, yet in the face of those attacks by those who want to delegitimize Black scholarship, Black scholars, and the quality of work of what we do to what we do, I feel like this was a real failure for me. That was a major turning point. At other colleges, Black professors have begun facing similar stressors. At Columbia University in New York City, Karen Atia, and I know who this is too. I'm so sorry on the pronunciation because she is a columnist at the Washington Post. She taught a course on race and Western journalism at the School of International and Public Affairs. Hold on, twin. I'm gonna respect you because I know who you are. Like I read your stuff. I've read your stuff before. Give me a second. Okay.
You wrote pretty movingly about when your father recounted the moment he learned of Emmett Till's death when he was a teenager in Ghana. I'm wondering how they, your parents, relate to what's going on now differently than you do.
I think like so many immigrant families from the Caribbean to Africa.
Oh, this is just a segment. I want her name. Hold on.
I wonder if HoneyBook has any new.
Hey, 5,000 subs, man. Getting YouTube red. No more ads on YouTube.
For joining me on Black News tonight, I'm Mark Lamont Hill. An update tonight concerning the men convicted of killing Ahmaud Arbery. Travis and Gray McMichael, along with William Roddy Bryan, will all stand trial on hate crime charges related to Arbery's death. Both McMichaels reversed their plans to plead guilty in the federal case of a U.S. district judge rejected terms of a plea deal. It would have allowed the men to serve 30 years of their sentence in federal prison instead of state custody. In January, all three men were sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of killing Arbery. The McMichaels without parole and Bryan with parole. The federal trial is to determine if they also violated Arbery's civil rights during the killing. The New York Giants, Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, and Denver Broncos president of football relations John Elway all issued a response to the claims made in the lawsuit filed by former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores in 2007. In light of all of this, the Washington Post's Karen Atia
Okay, Karen Atia. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I know who you are, so I wanted to make sure I got that right. Okay. At Columbia University in New York City, Karen Atia, a columnist at the Washington Post, taught a course called Race and Western Journalism at the School of International and Public Affairs. But Atia recently had her class canceled for the spring 2025 semester. There's this sense of, is my institution going to have my back? It's just a sense of, am I safe? Is my work safe? Said Atia, who added, in the wake of the right-wing attacks on higher education, Black academics have been canaries in a coal mine for a broader assault on democratic institutions. I'll say this. So the first time I really learned about Black history, like beyond just slavery and Martin Luther King Jr., was in college. When I like went out and paid for classes in college and higher learning at Georgia State University, because I took a lot of African American studies courses. That's the first time, you know what I'm saying? I'm like probably in my 20s, right? I'm probably like 20, 21 that I'm hearing and learning about actual Black American history. And so the fact that it's already limited to that, and that is trying to be squeezed out and pushed out and forced out by the powers that be with the current administration, I think is terrible, because it's like that class taught me so much. Like, it debunked the kind of Hotep theory that you hear online, right? About like God and Christianity in the Black community and how Black people shouldn't be Christians and stuff like that. It debunked a lot of the things that I just heard and believed, because it was like theories that you heard outside of school, growing up outside of grade school. And it's like, okay, I'm not learning about this anywhere else, and this person is telling me, so it has to be, I guess, the truth. But like, you have educated, PhD doctors and everybody like that, like teaching us the real stuff. And rest in peace to Dr. Charlene Holmes, by the way, as always. And shout out to Patricia Dixon. And then another one of my professors, his name slips my mind right now, but like all those professors, like really just meant a lot to me in college. And that's the first time I ever learned about that stuff. So the fact that they're trying to squeeze that out is sad. I know I'm saying the same thing. I'll go back to the story. My bad. Trump has said the ongoing assaults at Harvard are part of a broader effort by the administration to purge the nation's higher education landscape of what he's called wokeism and liberal ideologies. Boo. Samaya Evans. Here's the. I'll finish the story. I'll finish the story. Shut up, Rashad. Samaya Evans, a sophomore majoring in social studies and African American studies, said that although the university likes to imagine itself as a bastion of racial diversity, she still hasn't felt protected as an African American student on campus since the school entered into a legal battle with the federal government. Harvard undergraduate Black community leaders, the organization that has spent months preparing its Black student graduation, found out on May 2nd that the university abruptly canceled its reservation at Memorial Church, an interdenominational church on campus. It is really frustrating because we had to do a lot of this work since the fall. At least Martin Smith, one of the organization's co-chairs, said the group is now working with the Black Graduate Student Association and Harvard Black Alumni Society to find a new space to host the event to fund it. The changing climate on Harvard's campus has pushed Black organizers to focus on creating safe spaces for students to talk about how they feel on campus, whether that be through campus discussions or holding events dedicated to Black students. Folks have taken this time to really build and understand what's the end goal and the vision for students, what that could look like in a positive framework rather than constantly fighting in a negative way as to what a Black student life on campus can be, Martin Smith said. Last year, students created the African and African American Resistance Organization, known as AFRO. One tenet of the activist group is that its members adhere to the philosophy that they are vulnerable alone. The organization was formed as a space for students to organize around issues that affect Black Americans at Harvard. According to the student newspaper, the Harvard Crimson, the group was created in response to the U.S. Supreme Court overturning affirmative action and an April 2023 spotting incident where a crime was falsely reported and prompted a large police response. In this case, 4 Black students were forced out of their dorm rooms at gunpoint. Mia Montrose, a member of the organization and a junior studying environmental science and engineering, said that the current climate on campus has created, quote unquote, increased fear and increased resistance. Still, in the wake of Harvard canceling the Black student graduation, Montrose wonders if this moment will push organizations to form larger scale acts of resistance. These are clearly attacks against all students of color, she said. Cornell Williams Brooks, a civil rights attorney turned Harvard professor, said that it is his biggest fear in the higher education that will mirror the federal government's inconsistencies. It doesn't bode well for Harvard, a global leader in education, to be run by the same administration that has shrunk the economy and divided its citizens, Brooks said. If we have a federal government that's trying to micromanage classes, can we trust the people trying to ban books to teach students? Said Brooks, who directs the William Monroe Trotter Collaborative for Social Justice at Harvard Center for Public Leadership. Despite its flaws, Brooks said he believes Harvard is sincere in its efforts to protect academic freedom and its students and staff. Harvard has to win this fight, not because of the Ivy League and the prestige of the endowment. He said Harvard needs to win this fight in terms of its vitality of democracy. This story has been updated. Yeah, I'll say this, bro. It was something with the wokeism and everything like that. The idea that racism, I think this all the time with with basketball, right? With Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese discussions. The idea that racism doesn't exist, or the idea to stop talking about racism or ignore racism for the sake of your own comfort or anything like that, I think is very counterproductive to the progression and the actual making racism or whatever you want to say like more breathable, if that makes sense. Because just acting like it doesn't exist or not discussing it like doesn't help the issue, and it doesn't change the fact that it's there and it plays a part in every single thing that has to do with American society and modern American society, because it just always will. Like if the country was built on this, then in everything, and the fabric, it's in our clothes, it's in the cotton, it's in my socks, it's in everything that you're wearing right now. If you're an American, like racism is a part of everything. The food we eat, the businesses we go to, the streets we drive on, how this neighborhood looks, why we don't live in this neighborhood. Racism is in all that. Racism is in traffic, Atlanta traffic, the way that is built, 285 and stuff like that. So white people can go, it was designed so white people can go around this and that, or blah, blah, blah. And so black people, because it was a black city. And that's why there's so much traffic in Atlanta, because the infrastructure of it is built. This is on TikTok. It's just a thing. Racism is in everything, bro. So to downplay it or say I don't want to hear about it, or it's the race card that you're pulling, or this and that, it's not only dismissive to the people who are directly affected by it, but it's also just calling people stupid, bro, for something that exists. And I think that's whack. So that's what I have to say about it. Salute to the students fighting. I know one black student now from Harvard, or graduate from Harvard. So I'm gonna use her for sure and just like send her this and ask her questions like, what is this like? What is this like? What is this like? Because that's what network is for, right? Okay, next thing next. Shouts out to the capital B. Amazing story. Next thing next. Here we go. Here's the thing on black women and men from the 80s. And then so Dylan Alley just reposted this from what was this from 2020, and they're talking about each other, and essentially they're just saying the same stuff that we say now, bro, on Twitter and stuff.
The 80s is that they have lost something,
and it's just like what I think now is women are working more, and like the women are working so more, they're independent, and they don't prioritize marriage as much as they used to, and family as much as they used to. They say black men are misogynistic and they're extremely egotistical. They can only think about themselves, and they're intimidated by women who work and have accomplished something independently. And yeah, that's the whole pretty much 2 minutes.
Their first priority.
How I feel about the women here in the 80s, that they are beautiful, fantastic, and most of them have the jobs. So stick with them.
The male mentality is a little shaky, like weak. But I don't blame the men fully, because there are a lot of dense women out here also.
Well, I think they're more independent now. They look more toward a single life, not really a husband and wife relationship as they used to in the past.
I bring this up, just to point out once again, and Saba did an amazing job of this. Shout out to Elsie. Shout out to Elsie who just did the interview, the sit down interview with Saba. Everybody go check it out right now. You're on YouTube, so you're on the platform. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up so you guys know where to go and who Elsie is and things of that sort. Elsie. But y'all check this out. Elsie sit down with Saba. It's an hour long and stuff like that. And using a buzzword like propaganda doesn't make you right. Everyone sees the games they play and makes others saying the same thing. So don't invalidate what I'm saying. Hold on. Everyone sees. So don't invalidate what I'm saying without any proof. Where's your proof that they played? Where is your proof? Proof. The Atlanta Dream plays dirty. Well, no, I'm not even saying that. No. Nah, bro. Don't use the word thugs with an all-black team. Don't use the word thugs to describe an all-black basketball team. We not doing that. we're not doing that here. All right, cool. All right, my bad, bro. I hate seeing the little notifications, like the little red notifications. So, but yeah. Saba, he he pointed this exact thing out of nostalgia bait of just like, oh man, I wish I could be an artist back in the 80s because I didn't have to do reels and TikToks and live streams just to promote my new music. And the reality is you always had to do something. You had to show up on Jay Leno or Arsenio Hall. Like you had to like do a media tour. You had to do things that artists didn't want to do. Artists always just wanted to put out music. There were always artists that wanted to, just do that and not do interviews or do something that will make them stand out and have them talked about by the masses and stuff like that. Like it's always been that way. So shout out to LC for that interview. Shout out to Saba, one of the albums of the year. Make sure you go check out his album as well with No ID. And back to this. This is just proof once again that this, like, oh man, 2025, the men are so sassy. 2025, like what happened to real men? Like I see some people complain about this every single day. Men can't even change a tire anymore. I'm so glad my brother and my father helped me change a tire. Well, what are your brother and father? Men can't even change a tire anymore. If it wasn't for my brother teaching me how to change a tire, I would be... Okay, it sounds like a man taught you how to change a tire. You know what I'm saying? It's this nostalgia baiting that just makes it like, oh, the old times are just so much better. And these times are just so bad. And it's just so worse. And the reality is, no, it's not, bro. It's not, bro. It's not, bro. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay. He called my girls a thug team because everyone is black. See, today sees it. Just censoring the N-word because he can't type it. Yeah, exactly. Today. You feel it. I see today. Look. Hey, look at me and today agreeing on something, y'all. Look at me and me and today getting together today, man. Hey, you know what I mean? That is screenshot this moment. That's a moment in time. Look at us agreeing on something. Hold on. I got this stat too. Cause we agreeing a little too much today. Hold on. I got this stat that I need to read out, but before I continue on. Rhyne Howard this past weekend shot 2 of 18 from 3-point range. Okay, we will get back. She said today said she did. But also like what today was saying, she was like, listen to coach. She had the responsibility of dribbling, and she also takes on like the top defensive assignments, everything. All right, anyways, we talking about this. Yeah, nostalgia bait is literally just that. It's just bait, bro. Like the more you study and the more you look at like, and that's why I think documentation and journalism is so important, because I look at a lot of like old shows and like old coverage and stuff in old interviews, especially because there's so many people that's like, yo, like the interviews with these athletes now, like I wish we could go back to the days of Ahmad Rashad. And I look at the greats, right? Like the greats interviews just to see how stuff is different, right? And it ain't much different from the interviews I see and do right now. Like, it ain't that much different. It ain't nothing special about it. It just happened 40 years ago. So you want to call it like the greatest thing ever. And like, this was the golden age. It's the same stuff. It's the same stuff we see right now, bro, just in a different form. So anyways, I say all that to say nostalgia bait, I think, is dangerous. Is it dangerous? No, I don't know if it's dangerous, but I do think it's detrimental. And it's a distraction from you to like fully immerse yourself in kind of the blessings and the greatness that is today. And from that, I feel like you're robbing yourself of the pleasures and the I don't know, of just living a fulfilling life, because you're constantly looking at like, dang man, 5 years ago, like 2016. Like I told in the solo interview, I was there in 2016. People were also complaining about what was going on in 2016. I remember, I always think about this. The Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight finally happened. They talked about it for like 8 years, darn near a decade, since 2008. And it happened maybe 2015, 2016. When it happened, people who don't watch boxing, but people who just like knew that it was the most hyped fight in all of boxing, were complaining that it was boring because Floyd Mayweather is a defensive fighter. And I'm like, you guys don't watch Floyd Mayweather? Yeah, he's always been a defensive fighter. And people were complaining about that they won it for so long. And I'm like, oh, people complain about everything, bro. At that point, that's when I realized people complain about everything. So people were complaining in 2016. Now 2016, the greatest thing ever. They don't want to go back. All right, bro, whatever. Next thing. This is this guy, he posted this because there was this thing from Tally. Shout out to Tally, friend of the channel, from the podcast that she has with Mitch. What was it with Mel? Jokes on You Pod. Because someone said, why are black women cool with raising children in broken homes? And then she said, who broke the homes? And if you know Tally, like, kind of one of her things is like dudes and men are terrible people. Black people arguing propaganda, not black men or black women. Broken people broken up the homes. Okay, so with that said, someone said it reminds me of this. And it's 5.5 minutes of this dude talking. I just reacted to Deontay Kyle the other day. This is another guy who people just like kind of love. The funny part about him is he kind of looks like the other dude on TikTok that's going viral recently. If you know, you know. But yeah.
They poisoned the water, defunded the schools, stole the land, and then turned around and say, why can't y'all get it together? That's not failure. That's a setup. That's a setup. That's a setup. And you already know what it is. They starve black cities and then blame the people for dying. There's a pattern you're not supposed to notice. They underfund the water, they strip the tax base, dissolve the infrastructure, and then turn to the camera and say, see, black people can't govern themselves. Right? That's not failure. That's all narrative warfare being painted out in a ritual of collapse that they themselves have set up. Here's the thing. They do it like this. Pick any black city. Any black city. We could talk about Jackson, Flint, Baltimore, Memphis, East St. Louis, Gary. The pattern is consistent and is disgusting and disturbing. They withhold state funding first. They gentrify or abandon. They undermine leadership. They over-police and under-support. They exploit crisis for privatization. And then they say they did it to themselves. They burn the roof, then sell you the tar and ash while you smell like the smoke. Here's the thing. Then they give you this sovereignty illusion first, right? They say, you have black mayors, black councils, black leadership, but they won't mention this. That you have federal disinvestment, redlining legacies, state takeovers, corporate extraction, and anti-black policy sabotage. It's not sovereignty, it's performative democracy with a knife in its back. And you can't call it self-governance if every lever is rigged. You can't call it that. That's not what it is. So now we're in a situation where people mentally, after decades of curated decay, they ask, why can't y'all fix your own communities? That's when they want to ask it. What and they always do this every time. They do it with Flint, and you hear black people talk like this all the time. Why can't we get it together? We got the resources. Let's just make it happen. Are we being serious? Are we being serious? What's happening? What's happening? And they do this all the time. And some of us start believing it, start blaming each other, start fighting over scraps, start thinking our failure is proof of cultural deficiency instead of engineered scarcity. They didn't just defund your city, they overfunded your shame. So now after the water crisis, the narrative starts to flip. You get an extraction and takeover, outsourcing contracts, private equity housing takeovers, charter schools replacing community governance, nonprofit colonization, and corporate revitalization that displaces the displaced. Right? Like you don't get to be home anyway. Right? That's one thing America tries to get you to be at. You don't get to re-indigenize anywhere. They shuffle you, right? They mine the collapse for profit and then make you pay the emotional tax. So think of it like this. They talk like this. You bled, they bought the land, you wept, we write the op-ed. That's all that happens. That's all that happens. We're gonna get a New York Times piece. Right? That's all that's gonna come out of that. Black autonomy. Here's the thing, because I want y'all to stick with this. Black autonomy must be proved, not presumed. They don't have this conversation about rural towns losing their manufacturing. They don't have this conversation. They don't say, why can't white people fix the Appalachians? The Appalachian. They don't talk about that. But black cities, we're expected to overcome sabotage with no resources, no protection, no narrative defense. Black cities are the only ones expected to rise while being choked. So here's the thing. And I need this one to catch you like we're in an empty hall together. We didn't fail these cities. These cities were set up to fail so that every black dream inside them can be blamed for collapsing under the weight of a system that never planned for them to rise. And then now they say, look what you did. But the truth is, we're still here even after what you did.
Come on.
That's all that's going on. So here's what all I want to say. I just want to make sure that y'all have it clear as we continue to talk about these kind of things with all these cities, all these strategies. I'm gonna throw at y'all all that we need to blame the broken roof. Black cities are not failing. They are targeted. Right? That's all that's going on. So everybody talking about, oh, it's just a red state. It's just a red state. So I kind of don't feel sympathetic. Hold on. There was sympathy here before this. For black cities, there was sympathy here before this. It's a good question. It's just a good question. So I'm glad that we got to go over the overview. We're gonna look at several playbooks because it happens so consistently, and I need people to catch it before they target other places. It's same companies too. Viola, every time. That's our girl. I'm laughing, but they really rob. They robbers. Modern day. They locked in. Deep investment in that area. And they always build another pipeline. Don't stop them. They always got a highway. Don't stop them. They always gonna find it. So we just gotta call it what it is. They elect us into a broken roof. And that's the part that's gotta change.
Yeah, man. So this is exactly why I was saying with the video that I did a couple months ago about the lady. She said, in order for the black community to rise, we must leave the ratchet blacks behind. And I'm like, I think you're no better than the blacks that you claim, ostracized you growing up for not being quote unquote black enough. When you say, oh, and ratchet blacks, Sexy Red, we're leaving you at the door, like, because Sexy Red is literally just a product of her environment. We're all one or two different things away from like being completely different people. So it's like, if we're all just one or two things, like we're all family, bro. Like we're not better than anybody. We were just kind of fortunate with more circumstances to have one or two different things. No opportunity or door open, the ability to meet somebody along the way in our path. And that's why I can't just let go of one part of our body, the community to advance or to do better or whatever the case might be. And salutes to this guy, man. He said some stuff in this 5.5 minute salute to him for sure. All right. Speaking of family, 2 Chainz, here we go. 2 Chainz, this is from Essence, attributed from the Shannon Sharpe Club Shay Shay interview. 2 Chainz said marriage brings him stability and loyalty. The rapper and his wife, Keisha Ward, have been together and been married since 2018, and they share 3 children together. This was written by Elizabeth Ayola. Shout out to Elizabeth Ayola. Rapper 2 Chainz and his wife, Keisha Ward, are one celebrity culture who remind us that the longevity and love is possible. During their conversation, the rapper sat down with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay and discussed marriage and its many positive benefits. I've seen what the outside looks like. It's just something about having stability and loyalty, that real love. You can't find that everywhere, especially when you get to a certain level. You don't know if it's real or fake. The rapper, also known as Tahi K. Epps, orchestrated the grand proposal to Ward during the Met Gala in 2018, and a few months later, they made things official and got married. They had a star-studded wedding at a hotel, Villa Casarunia, which originally belonged to Gianni Versace. The couple also shared 3 children, Heaven, Halo, and Harmony. During the recent interview, the 47-year-old also reflected on owning a strip club and how he didn't sway in his determination to maintain a loving relationship. People will probably assume that I was just going to throw it all away. I just couldn't wait to prove all the people wrong, he said. The rapper also explained about being disciplined helps him stay grounded despite being surrounded by naked women at his strip club. Oh, brother. Girls walk around me naked all the time now. I don't know if it's just something to my libido, because if a girl walks in there naked now, she'd just be naked. Huh? 2 Chainz, we was with you until we wasn't. I ain't walking around with no boners seeing 40, 50 women. I just see it every day. I've got control over my D-bone. Lord have mercy. We just had such a productive conversation on Black Me. The artist lives out his values by putting his family first and including them in his many ventures. More recently, the Family of Five appeared as a solid unit at the Atlanta Film Festival for the rapper's debut film, Red Clay. The NOLA rapper has publicly doted over his wife and expressed how sacred their love is. We have loved each other then. We love each other every day. Hold on. We love each other every day. We got married and we're going to love each other forever. He told people. We've always kept our relationship more or less internal as far as how we take care of each other, take care of the family, he adds. So there it is. 2 Chainz. Interesting. But salute. 2 Chainz, Atlanta legend for sure. True. He was just at the Dream game last week. He was at the Fever game at State Farm Arena. Okay, next. Money Long. Someone said she's just decided to turn on the whole audience.
So I was gonna go live, but the internet is not the greatest. So we're just gonna start.
Money Long, not too much on us, baby girl. Not too much. You better watch what you say. Out here talking about it's only Black women that don't like your personality. It might be because it's only Black women that know you. It's only Black women that ever gave you a damn chance, but that can be stopped. We can take that card back if you'd like to see who really supports you out here. I mean, Mooney Long was on her live today. I guess she was getting some trolls in her comments. And instead of her just dealing with them trolls as a Black woman, she wanted to let it be known that it's only Black women that don't like her. I think it was only Black women that supported your ass too. Didn't nobody like Hours and Hours and all these songs till we liked it. You know what I'm saying? No one liked your music till we liked it.
Okay. See, now I feel like the TikToker took it a step further by saying nobody liked your music until we liked it.
And now, because you think you got other people of diverse communities liking your music, you don't really want to recognize.
I hope this isn't Money Long speaking against the Black community or Black women in particular. Like that, I really hope that isn't this what this video is going to be.
Who made your shit hot? You bumped your head, little girl. Instead of you talking about Black
The little girl is crazy too.
women, you need to be talking about the people that troll you, because Black women also supported you. But we don't have to, though. We don't have to. Mooney Long, not too much on us, baby girl.
Sherry.
Never
stop with Sherry.
Your
duets are off. And I can't stitch the video. Also can't save it. Or else I would have done that. First of all, it's Money, not Mooney. Nice to meet you. And the first question that I have for you, Miss Sherry, is you said you better watch what you say, or what?
All right. Okay. All right.
I'm glad you agree that disrespect will not be tolerated.
Hey,
I can
yo. Hey, yo. All right. I'm sorry. We get it together.
with you there. It won't. I know I look young because I drink water and mind my business. But I'm 36 years old. I'll be 37 in September. I've been growing and taking care of myself for a long time. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. I don't care who you is. No, ma'am. I'm gonna give you a pass because you don't know me. But as you get to know me on Beyonce's internet, you will see. At 26 seconds in Exhibit A.
Oh, she breaking it down.
This video here.
You done messed up now.
By the way, she has beautiful skin. You say, and I quote, instead of her just dealing with the trolls as a Black woman, the rest of the sentence doesn't even matter. Instead of her just dealing with the trolls as a Black woman, is that our assignment? To be strong Black women? To just deal? I'm not doing that.
Now she put on the Harriet boy.
Matter of fact, let me show you something. Shout out to my girl, Ari Lennox, because this is where I'm at with it. Come on. Y'all know what this is.
I got to mute it for copyright.
Soft girl era. I'm not dealing with nothing I don't want to deal with, sweetie. Honey boo boo, boogie, pookie. No, ma'am. And you don't have to either. Stop letting these people treat y'all like anything. Stop letting them knock y'all upside your head, but baby, I love you. You're holding niggas down. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Break the generational curse. Black woman, it is okay for you to speak your mind, for you to take up space, for you to assert yourself, for you to be kind instead of nice, for you not to keep taking the shirt off your back. And
kind instead of nice. That might be a bar. Kind instead of nice. I want to watch like a video breakdown on that.
Next to the next man. You ain't mammy. We don't have to raise the world. We don't have to let nobody else suckle our tit to nourish the future offspring while our children have nothing and have to fight for every scrap. We don't have to do that. I know a woman whose grandmother had to bite the toenails off from her employer's toes while they ate dinner. Black woman. Disgusting behavior. I'm not addressing no more comments about this. I just was scrolling and came across my FYP here on TikTok. And I said, I don't like the way that started. Hold on, let me just, how you? Because what you're not going to do is that right there. God got me. Okay, I'm blessed and highly favored. God is the author and the finisher of my faith. You don't run nothing over here. And lastly, my largest demographic is Brazil and the Philippines.
All right, here we go.
If I'm not mistaken. And it's been that since the beginning. So.
Don't write off no Black folks' money. Money seemed cool though. I seen her one time at what the heck is she even talking about? yeah. The last part when she did the Brazilian, I was there, and then she said that, and I was like, okay, what are we doing here? I brought up these videos of kind versus nice, but this dude he said he's not referring to race. Stop playing victim, sir, or ma'am, whoever you is. There is a deep historical connection, or I'll say undertone of the word thug and Black people. If you were unaware, just in case you were unaware, now you know. Now you know. Okay. All right, now back to this kind versus
teenagers are
5,000 subs. I'm getting YouTube red. No more ads on the YouTube reactions.
Ryan Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is being kind isn't being nice. or the two faces of kindness. So kindness is actually a complicated construct. It's not synonymous with simply being nice. Being nice is not always kind, and being kind is not always being nice. And I think the best way to illustrate this distinction is by discussing the two faces of kindness. But before I do so, please remember to like this episode and subscribe to this channel. It takes less than a second, costs you nothing, and it would really help me get this message out to more people. So if you like what you're hearing here today, then please do the thing. Also, if you're thinking about going to grad school, check out stellargre.com. You can use the code PSYCH for 10% off all membership plans. So kindness has two faces. The first face of kindness is the one that's more commonly accepted. It's basically an attribute of mercy. In this case, kindness means not adding insult to injury or kicking somebody when they're down. If somebody's having a tough time, it's kind not to add difficulties with punishment, judgment, or censure to their problems. We might even try to offer some relief as appropriate. And keep in mind that this applies equally to both other people and to ourselves. It's very important to be kind to ourselves so that when we fail, when we fall short of our goals, which we inevitably do, we don't beat ourselves up, we don't criticize ourselves unduly, and we don't pile extra punishment on top of the organic pain. That's one face of kindness, to not cause harm and to ease suffering as appropriate. However, there is another face of kindness that is less commonly appreciated. This face has more to do with loving honesty, and it does not allow other people to continue to hurt themselves unnecessarily. It is not kind to stand by while people destroy themselves. Now, obviously, this is tricky because, unfortunately, if someone has a mind to do so, there's little you can do to prevent this from happening. Some folks are so deep in delusion that they will reject that help. However, my point is that you can't really think of yourself as kind if you don't at least try to intervene in unnecessary self-destruction. This has nothing to do with a moral or ethical obligation for people to change their ways. That's a should-based judgment on how people ought to live their lives, and who are we to dictate that for others? What I'm talking about is approaching another from a place of love and truth, and recognizing without judgment or censure that they are hurting themselves with a certain behavior. Kindness is saying that I cannot stand by and watch yourself destroy yourself without at least trying to bring this to your attention. Real kindness is like a coin. It has two faces. Exercising the one without the other is pathological. And we see this kind of pathological kindness playing out every day in certain cities, in certain states, all across the country. In San Francisco, for example, more people died from drug overdoses in the streets than from COVID during the 2+ years of shutdowns. In that city, there is an attitude that it would be unkind to intervene in these people's lives, to provide consequences, structure, and accountability because they have already suffered enough. That is the first face of kindness, not kicking someone while they're down without the other. This is not kind. This is enabling. Stepping over someone's unconscious body to get into your apartment building does not support individual autonomy or human rights. It is degrading for all involved. And because it's enabling, it tends to make the situation even worse over time. Let's take a more concrete example. Let's say that one of your loved ones is an alcoholic. It's not kind to say nothing while this person drinks themselves into oblivion each night. That's enabling. When a person believes that saying or doing nothing is a form of kindness, what we're really dealing with is a strategy to rationalize conflict avoidance. Because unfortunately, bringing up an alcoholic's drinking can provoke a good deal of defensive reactiveness.
100%.
It's also not particularly kind to moralize about it and to complain that they shouldn't drink so much. Not only is this judgmental, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
What kindness might look like in the situation is something like, hey, I really care about you. And I've noticed that you've been drinking a lot more lately. And you don't look so good. You're sleeping late, you're missing work, and frankly, you've been really irritable to be around. I'm concerned that your drinking is getting out of control, and I'm worried that if this doesn't change, it's going to negatively impact our relationship, which I value. And it may even negatively impact your health or life. Now, the other person is going to respond to this as he or she sees fit. That's not up to you. But on some level, kindness carries with it an imperative to at least try to extend a hand to folks when they are actively self-destructive. Again, it is not kind to sit back and watch that happen. That's a dangerous rationalization. Real kindness requires loving honesty, which almost always consists of acknowledging that people are not purely victims of circumstance and are at least somewhat complicit in their suffering. And this is actually empowering, because if they are at least somewhat complicit in their suffering, then they can actually do something to change their circumstances, which wouldn't be possible if they were merely only victims. What do you think? Does kindness require accountability? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for listening.
All right, so that's kindness versus. Okay, so all right, okay, all right. So there's that. Next thing, we got a couple more things here. Still. There hasn't been any running water in the New Orleans jail apparently since Friday. Inmates can't flush the toilet or shower. Fights are breaking out, and officials haven't responded to WWL's request for comment. More details. This goes back to the video we just saw about black cities failing and things of that sort. In the words of Kanye West 2005, George Bush doesn't care about black people. Something that is deeply connected to New Orleans and everything like that. Inmates at OJC are without water all weekend, fighting the warps. It started with a single hot water line leak, but it led to water services being turned off. This was written by David Hammer, WWL Louisiana investigator.
Just like
No, we're not doing that. Nah, we ain't doing that, partner. How you anyways, the Orleans Justice Center, still dealing with the fallout of an embarrassing jailbreak, has now been without running water since Friday night, multiple sources tell WWO Louisiana. This is inhumane, said the wife of one inmate who asked to remain anonymous, fearing that speaking out would jeopardize her husband's case. They are not giving out any answers. They have not brought any water into to drink. It apparently began with a leak in a hot water line on the fourth floor mezzanine, and jail officials responded by shutting off all water to the facility at 11:15 p.m. Friday, according to a source with direct knowledge of the situation. It left inmates living in filth with no access to showers or the ability to flush toilets, and fights began breaking out across the jail facilities, multiple sources said. Inmates' family members and the jail staffer told the news station about the lack of running water on Monday, but the Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson did not announce the plumbing problems and didn't initially respond to requests for information and comment. OPSO did send WWL a statement by email at about 8 p.m. Tuesday. It said the Orleans Justice Center was not without any water all weekend, but water service had to be shut off temporarily on Saturday, again on Sunday, and once again on Monday. The whole weekend. Do you think I'm stupid? In addition, the statement said that when the water was on, the pressure fluctuated because of the street work nearby. Late Saturday evening, water to portions of the facility had to be temporarily shut off due to a significant leak within the wall, which posed the risk of flooding and potential discomfort to residents. Read the statement, which was not attributed to any specific OPSO official. It went on to say water service was restored midday Sunday, but additional leaks caused more flooding in the walls, forcing the hot water to be shut off again on Monday. Throughout this period, the residents continued to receive continuous supply of drinking water, ice, and hygiene support, the statement said, contradicting the assertions by sources in the jail who claimed that there were no drinking water, toilets couldn't be flushed, and showers didn't work. Although the facility is less than 10 years old, the sheriff's office statement claimed that the current problem, quote unquote, further highlights Sheriff Hudson's continued advocacy for additional funding to modernize the Orleans Justice Center. So there's that. The power's also been off in New Orleans for like general citizens and residents around the city and stuff like that. So there's that. That's also going on in New Orleans, which is a black city. So take from that what you will, but that is what's going on right now in America, in particular New Orleans. A man made, here you go today. Are you ready for it? A man made this argument that the real rivalry in the WNBA is not Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, but Caitlin Clark and Rhyne Howard. And I'm a bit confused by this argument already, just going into it before watching the video, because he said it goes way back to high school. You know, they're Team USA babies. They were on the same Team USA team with Paige and who else? Haley Van Lith and Aaliyah Boston and Haley Jones. And, you know, I think maybe Alyssa Kunane was on the team. I might be just throwing out names there. But all of those girls were on the team. But I don't know if any prior beef that these two had back in college or anything like that. Shout out to Trey Youngstad, who reposted and said, "This is fire. We need to be talking about this rivalry more." He tagged the WNBA, the Atlanta Dream, and the Indiana Fever. So without further ado, I guess let's get into it.
The real rivalry in the WNBA. And it's not Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. It's Caitlin Clark and Rhyne Howard. And they've been going at it for years. Recently, they got a lot of attention because they were chirping back and forth after a Fever Dream game. But the thing is, this rivalry actually could be great for the league. You got to understand, to have a real rivalry, it has to have some layers behind it. It can't be something falsely orchestrated by the media. It needs to be organic. And this one definitely fits the bill. Let's take this all the way back to high school, because both Clark and Howard played on a stacked Team USA under-19 team. And they had teammates such as Aaliyah Boston, Haley Van Lith, and Paige Beckers. But it was obviously nothing going on then because, you know, they were winning. Moving on to college, their paths eventually crossed in the NCAA tournament. And Iowa ended up defeating Rhyne Howard at Kentucky. But we had signature performances between the two. After college was over, they moved on to the WNBA, and they both became #1 overall picks. And then the rest was history. But you could tell there was no love lost between the two whenever they played. In the first matchup, the Fever ended up winning, but Rhyne Howard dropped 26 points and gave Clark more than she could handle on the defensive end. The second game, however, was a different story. In this game, Clark ended up tying the rookie three-point record set by Rhyne Howard previously by hitting a step-back three in her face, which is kind of poetic. The final matchup of the year was an overtime thriller, and Indiana ended up sneaking away by 4. But both Clark and Howard put on a show, and it showed glimpses of what's to come in the future. And fast forward to now, here we are. What makes stories like this so good for the league is that both of them off the court seem like genuine friends, and they're often seen joking around pregame sometimes. But once the sneakers lace up, you could tell that it's all business. But stories like this show that the W is not full of hate. It's just pure competition. And this rivalry could actually push the league forward.
Dude just made up something, bruh. He just made something up. He just made that whole thing. I sat here for 2 minutes and 10 seconds and watched him just make something up, bruh. He made it sound like Ryan and Caitlin just bump each other and like guard each other intensely. This is a basic WNBA matchup. What are we talking about, bro? It's one of the two better players in the WNBA facing off. That isn't a rivalry. That's just two players facing off. What are we talking about? I don't even know what the point of this is. I don't even know what the point of this is, bro. Yeah, exactly. Look who's trying to force a rivalry now. 100%. But is this you? this is forcing a rivalry. This doesn't even make sense. It's got 162,000 views, 7,000 likes nearly. This doesn't even make sense. It would make sense if there was like where they did this every game they played each other. This was the first time this happened between them two on the court. What are we talking about? Some people just be talking, bro. Especially when it comes to Caitlin Clark, bro. People just be talking on this internet about Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark gonna bring them money. Caitlin Clark gonna bring them clicks and things of that sort. I saw this. I saw it picking up some steam. I saw Trae Young's dad even post about it and said, "This is what we need to get behind." And I said, you know what? Maybe I need to react to this on stream. He ain't say a thing that I didn't like. I thought he was gonna say something I didn't know. Like he was gonna say, like, yeah, like their high schools played each other on or their AAU teams played each other, and Caitlin tripped up Ryan and the bench is clear. Like it was nothing. It was nothing. It's like, imagine me saying like the real rivalry in the WNBA is Kelsey Plum versus Jewel. Like just making up stuff, just saying stuff. What are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about, bro? And I don't know how long this young man has been watching the WNBA. But if it's something where he's like from the South or a Kentucky fan, and he just watches a lot of Rhyne Howard, and he knows Caitlin Clark is the biggest thing, the most famous person in the WNBA. And he was just like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm running. Bro, what is you talking about, bro? Legitimately, what is you? I like, it kind of, it amazes me how much this has just made me mad. I like, bro, what are we talking about, bro? I'm saying the same thing. I'm speaking in circles. So let me move on to the next thing. But that didn't even make no sense. You got to think, like, I waited all day to react to that. And Buddy ain't even say nothing. Mechanical Bull, this was something stupid that was going on Twitter today, and I was like struggling for things. But I mean, I'm nearly 2 hours into the stream. A girl just told me she ghosted me because I got too drunk and wrote the Mechanical Bull 3 times on our very first date. So this was the viral tweet of the day. And leading to the discussion. Hey, yo. So now a bunch of men started posting and joking about riding the Mechanical Bull. And this has pretty much been Twitter for the rest of the day and stuff like that. So I don't know, Boosie said something, but someone posted it and said, well, Boosie, your time has come. And it's a whole, oh man, dang, Boosie, they didn't get you. Yeah, did Boosie say something? Hold on, man. Oh man. All right. Anyways. So that's like a little silly thing that was going on social media today. Funny things. And then second thing that was dumb. I kept smelling beans the whole night. Boy, bye. That's my purse. I be hungry. But beans, though, that's too big back. I'm cool on you. She said, boy, bye. She had beans in her bag, bruh. And I don't know if this is just like a joke to go viral on social media, but this reminds me, I don't know if you guys know that the it's like a meme of a kid with beans in his pocket at a movie theater or in a classroom, and he reaches in the pocket for something, and like beans fall out, and then someone just says, hey y'all, this man got beans in his pocket, and everybody just starts laughing. That's exactly what it reminded me of. There's no way that this is an actual thing, bro. Beans in his pocket. Let me see. Beans in his pocket. There was a whole thing. It's this man got beans. What was it? It was like one of the more biggest jokes on Twitter. This man got beans in his pocket. Let me see. There we go. I found it. I found it. Okay, so where's the tweet? based on a deleted tweet. Okay, here it is. I don't know if the tweet. The full text reads, I spilled baked beans all over myself watching Cars 2 in the theater and a black teenager shot it. This N-word eating beans and everybody laughed. Online, people will post a full text verbatim and just use the phrase, this N-word eating beans, which serves as a punchline to various jokes. So, I don't know, it's somewhere or whatever. Back to Coach's comments. What about Coach's comments that she was saying? Coach's comments, it was just, to me, it was like, Buddy was just saying like her usage is too high right now, and I need to lower her usage. I think at the end of the day, Rhyne is doing a lot. Leisha's also doing a lot. Maya Caldwell, when she's in the game, is also doing a lot. Nia Coffey, when she's in the game, also does a lot. The production or the efficiency that we see on offense from the other players is a bit different. I think Ryan's just going through a slump, and you just have to call it what it is. She's going through a slump. And the thing about Rhyne is like, it's just a thing that we've seen, a thing we've seen in our career. Like sometimes she's hot, she's one of the top 5 players in the world. Other times, it's like, where's Rhyne Howard, bro? The one like great game that she had this season, offensively with scoring, was after she got upset with the whole Caitlyn charging her thing and doing the, putting the elbow on her chest and everything like that, right? He needs to set her up for success and make a choice until JC gets back. I can't expect her to have energy for offense. And when she's doing dang near everything else. So the thing about it is, I agree with you about Jordan Canada. I feel like if they know Jordan Canada is going to be out for 2-3 weeks, and you know at this point that Pow is going to be out for 2-3 weeks, then you need to say that so you can officially go and sign a hardship contract, and you can get another guard, and you can get some guard backcourt depth in the building, because it's like, now, okay, Ryan has to run the run. Ryan has to. And it don't have to be that way. You could just sign Deja Kelly. You can just sign any other guard that you need to, and things of that. Like, I don't know if Cheyenne Sellers is an answer, or Haley Jones on a hardship contract. If Haley Jones would even sign a hardship contract to stay with the team, to return to the team. But you have to announce those players as, these players are going to be out 2 to 3 weeks officially, so you can bring somebody in. Deja is in a PG though. That's what we need. We need a PG. Leash is not doing as much as Ryan is. No one is. Leash is doing a lot, bro. Leash is scoring. She's been the team's leading scorer the whole season. That's like, Leash has been, and she's been a good defender, a solid defender, and things of that sort. But hold on, let me see. WNBA point guard free agents. Diamond Johnson. I just thought about Diamond Johnson, bro. Someone was like, Kennedy Carter. I was like, nah, bro, come on. Let's be for real now. Free agencies. Man, these are all off-season free agents. Thanks a lot, Google. But yeah, man. Yeah. Diamond Johnson, there's a lot of people cut, bro. A lot of decent players cut. And we'll just see what happens. But perhaps Haley Jones, I don't know. I think that's the outshot shot, but perhaps her. No more undersized PGs. Man, Diamond Johnson's a hooper, bro. For real. She's a hooper. Shout out to Crystal Dangerfield. Remember Crystal Dangerfield? She was crazy too. Yeah, but okay. All right. I'm gonna move on because we are at the end, and I need to get to sleep because I have work in the morning. So yeah.
Oh my God! Hi. What is happening? Hello.
Hi, Paige.
Great. I'm a hugger. What's your name?
Vinny.
I'm a first generation student. I am a mother.
My father passed when I was 7 years old.
I have to choose between my textbooks or if I'm going to eat for the day.
Mom did everything by herself. She's my superhero.
Experiencing the market for me, I thought was going to be a humiliating experience.
Like, am I going to be judged by this?
No one wants to be labeled that poor kid.
When I walked in there, the food was fresh. There was things in there that I could walk into the grocery store and get for my daughter. I could make something of this.
It feels just like a grocery store. Go and grab what you need. I'm like, I'm giving me cookies today. I'm giving me some juice, whatever the case is.
You have impacted so many people's lives.
You don't realize how many people you've helped.
When we're opening a food shelf, you showed up and you made it okay.
You give me so much. I want to give you something of mine.
Paige, you once gave me a bag, and now I want to give one back to you. I'm the first of my family to graduate high school. That's my high school diploma.
Wow.
I made the dean's list. It's things like the market that play a big part.
Oh my gosh. W Page.
Congratulations.
You are such an incredible powerhouse and should be proud to all the lives that you have touched.
That's the impact of what you're doing. You're feeding households every single day.
The kid. I know you. I know you too. I didn't know it was gonna be you.
You know, having the chance to coach you, it was so joyful. I don't know if I've ever told you this. They no longer wanted you to play for me. We want you to step back, take an assistant spot. And I'm thinking, well, what did I do wrong? I was ready to quit. And I remember your response. You said, oh, heck no. You were 16 years old at the time. You were risking a lot and you didn't care. I had families, parents that didn't have the heart or the guts to say what you're doing is wrong. But you stood on what was right. You would always stand and do what was right. I appreciate you for that. You stood up for me. You had my back. And then to sit and hear how you've helped so many people, you lead from the heart. And that's why I love you. The mark of a champion is how they lift the people around them. And Paige, you are already a champion.
W Page Bakers, W Verizon for sure. One thing I do want to say, it feels like Paige is shouldering a lot right now. And I just hope her mental is good, shouldering the load and the expectation from the public and fans of being Paige Bakers. Rumors about her romantic life are like the most viral thing right now in the women's basketball TikTok. Everything about Paige is under a spotlight constantly. And it has been since she's been in high school as a viral sensation. I see Paige with fans in particular environments and establishments around the country, wherever she is. And I just want to say that I hope you are doing okay. Mentally, I hope you are doing fine. I hope you are healthy in the mind, not just physically, but mentally. I hope you're doing okay. And I hope you have outlets, healthy outlets to deal with these things and to cope with these things, the challenges that just are life and things of that sort. And I wish you the best for Ricky's season and the rest of your career. Shout out to Sanaya Rivers as well. I got a chance to say hey to her when she was in Atlanta. And I didn't have the heart to say like sorry for your loss just outright because I feel like she might hear that so often. But Sanaya, if you're watching this, or if somebody who knows you is watching this and they share this with you, sorry for your loss. And just know that you have support all over the country from media members, fans, organizations alike. We're all with you in this community. And we're rooting for you this season. And I just hope this year, your rookie year, goes by well, and we are proud of you. So salute. And shout out to Anissa Morrow as well. Shout out to Anissa Morrow as well. Okay, last thing, man. A Palestinian journalist said she lost 3 of her cousins today.
While the European countries are so reluctant and not taking any serious steps against Israel, I'm only talking about the commercial agreements. And while the US is lying on us all, not trying to enter anything to Gaza, not trying to reach a ceasefire, and not trying to stop Israel by any way, and benefiting from the genocide from A to Z, the Israeli army is burning us to death. Today, the Israeli army bombed a very crowded school, killing 40 people. 3 of them were my cousins. Children among them. The rest of the family are injured, severely injured, with severe burns, with not enough medicine, very hot weather, not enough places in the hospitals, and no hospitals. I spent the whole day between the medical tents, being called field hospitals, trying to find medicine, doctors, nurses. The family was trapped in the class while it was burning because the door was metal and it was stuck after the bombing. They were stuck in the class that is on fire for 43 minutes. 3 of them died, passed.
Let me see the next one, because she got another video down here.
And taken them out. They're suffering severe burns, severe injuries, their faces, their hands, their shoulders, their backs. Most of them were missing. And yeah, I lost 3 cousins. Why? Because of nothing. Nothing. Because of the brutal, extreme, corrupt colony of Israel. Because they are carrying on this genocide only for political and individual interests. They are having fun. "40 people got killed. And I lost my cousins. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. For everything. We never know. No one knows. When is the timing? Only the Israelis know, because the Israeli army knows every one of us and where are we, using their intelligence. So they know that these people got killed are children. And these people are civilians. And these places are schools. So they know when are we going to die. But we...
Yeah, man. Free the Congo. Free Palestine.
So they know when are we going to die. But we don't know. So alhamdulillah for everything. I feel so angry. Whenever I hear the story and I hear their screams in the videos on the timeline, I hear the screams of my auntie, uncles, and cousins inside B class, trapped. I don't want to hear anyone or read anything about Israel defending itself. Israel has never had the right to exist or to defend itself. Israel is a bunch of criminals, and they are having fun using our blood to stay more in the government and for their interests. If you are believing anything else, I'm sorry, you're not living on this planet. You're so brainwashed. I won't say anything else.
Yeah, man. Sorry for her loss, and prayers up to the families of those 40 people who lost their lives in the tragic fire over there. And yeah, man, like I said, free Palestine, free Congo, inhuman trafficking worldwide, things of that sort. As always, my name is Rashad Milligan. This is the Road 5K subs if you are new to the channel. And until next time, if nobody else told you, I care for you. I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff. But
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon, we can't ask Rashad questions.
Okay, Rashad.